Ladies and gentlemen, Ringside Society, the Wrestling Fans Podcast, presents to you another impressive episode of 15 Minutes of Fandom. In this episode, we pick one fan that has great fandom for professional wrestling, sit them down, and ask them the who, what, why, where, and when of their fandom for professional wrestling. So with that being said, in the first corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He is Rob Bates, and you are not. And the second quarter, we have that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go, catch him if you can. Said his name in Guyana, now they love him in Japan. No cap, the worldwide star boy, Remy Glue. And our special guest tonight is a man who hails from the great state of Louisiana, the home of the Po' Boys, the home of Mardi Gras, the home of one of the greatest streets you could walk on, Bourbon Street.
It's a good time.
The owner and host of Sports and Wrestling Xperience. Everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. Cody Davis. Cody, how you doing tonight, man?
Woo! I am doing just fine. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks a lot for actually agreeing to be on our show. We know that you're busy, plotting the next step for your podcast and whatnot and all that good stuff. We really and truly do appreciate you giving us this opportunity to, interview as well. We're always excited to interview people. For those of you watching, if you ever see how hyped up me and Rob are, and Kathy, whenever she decides to come here and give us mischief, we're always excited to talk to our guests, whether they're a wrestler, promoter, referee, or a fellow podcaster. Heck, even the guy in the stand with the signs. We're always excited to talk to our guests, and you, Mr. Davis, are no different. So once again, thank you. How's everything over there? You're in Texas now, right?
No, Louisiana. I'm actually about 60 miles from. You mentioned Bourbon Street. I'm about an hour away from New Orleans. Hence the poster behind me, the WrestleMania 30 poster.
Woo! Oh yeah, I heard that was a good time, man.
I was down there. Too good of a time.
It was such a good time. I remember exactly where I was on WrestleMania 30 when it was on WrestleMania Day when it was showing. I was in a bar in New York City, the heart of New York City. I think it was Jobber Tears podcast. Shout out to Jobber Tears. We'll try to have y'all on the show real soon. But it was the Jobber Tears podcast. I was having a viewing party, and I was there with another professional wrestler by the name of Judas Black, and he and I were watching that exact pay-per-view, and I felt the good time all the way in New York City. So trust me, it looked like a good time.
It was one of the. Let me get set up. Sorry.
It's okay.
No, it was quite the time.
Awesome. Also, before I go any further, a special shout out to our mod tonight, Alicia, the Warrior Princess, straight from the best side, the West Side, California. Alicia, thank you for being on here with us. We always appreciate you being our mod. Kicking out the bad guys and taking names and whatnot. Really appreciate that. But by the way, love the scarf, man. Woo.
Oh, thank you.
Is that an MJF scarf or just
couch I'm sitting on right now?
I beg your pardon?
I said this scarf costs more money than this couch that I'm sitting on right now.
It looks like something MJF would wear, and I mean that with no disrespect. Like,
oh, absolutely, no, it represents greatness.
Oh, jeez, man, MJF
guy. Well, we can get to that
MJF would probably give you like a salty, like a jealous look, like, man.
Okay, I went to All Out in Chicago 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And, have y'all been there before to that area by any chance?
Chicago?
No, Hoffman Heights or Hoffman Estates. It's like 40. I mean, it's like It's about 45 minutes away from the city of Chicago. But I flew into Chicago the Saturday of the show. Got there at like noon. Went to a local bar about 2 miles from the arena, Sears Center. And then I flew back home like the next day. So I didn't have a hotel. I just went and came back home. I'm
Oh,
at the airport the next morning at like maybe 7 a.m. And I see maybe 10 people away from me. I see a Nightmare Family jacket. And I'm like, that's MJF. I'm like, it'd be nice to meet him, just to shake his hand, say, hey, how are you? The guy doesn't break character. I get it. No one else does it in wrestling nowadays. I love it. So I'm walking through the airport and I see Long Island, New York, all that stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's the area he's from. He's going back home. So I'm walking. He's on his phone, and like I didn't want to be a fanboy or be a goof. I just showed up. I said, hey Max, how are you, man? I just go to put my hand out, being a gentleman. All I wanted was a hey, how are you? He gives me this look and just looks at me, doesn't say a word. And I said, okay, man, thank you, and just walked off. So yeah, he is a true dick in person too. But
yeah,
I admire it. I love it.
but you know, I'm not knocking him. I know that some people just want to do their job and go home, but that kind of stuff will get your ass kicked in the wrong area. Like you go to Texas, like and or Miami, and you go and try that. I mean, he might get away with just looking at you like that, but like if he says anything like smart, hey, you might hear he suffered an injury somewhere off screen. You know, I mean,
No, you're right.
but,
You're right. I love
I
him
mean,
though. I thought it was funny.
I gotta admit, I mean, yeah, I mean, if he's living the gimmick, I mean, more power to him. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan, but at the same time, I don't bear no ill will towards him because I've never met the man. I've never even like, I don't think I've even tweeted. I don't think I myself or we here at Ringside Society have ever um, tweeted on anything about him.
Uh huh.
But hey, more power to him, man. If he can get by doing that, then I guess that's him. I mean, some people live the gimmick.
Yep.
Even though, in my opinion, living the gimmick now has been living the gimmick died with the Undertaker. It definitely died. I'd say
Yeah.
this: the Click shot kayfabe in the heart with the curtain call incident.
Yep.
CM Punk put a nail in the coffin. And for those that still don't believe, well, the Undertaker coming out of character most recently confirmed his death. There's no more kayfabe. There's no living the gimmick that much, really. I mean, it's nice, but it's to me, it's just dead.
I mean, you can kind of maintain it somewhat, but the way it used to be, like in the '80s, early '90s, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a nice time. I mean, I used to believe that Owen Hart and Bret Hart actually hated each other.
Yeah.
I used to believe a lot of things, but yeah.
Like I have a brother. I understand the whole brother rivalry. Like I
Oh
get it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's perfect.
yeah. Um, but yeah. So I'm gonna dial it back a bit. I just gotta ask, man, what made you become a fan of professional wrestling? Like, what was the event or match that you saw?
This guy,
Ooh,
the Hulk Hogan. I mean, I was born in 1987, and I
okay.
was 3 years old. 1990, WrestleMania 6, Ultimate Warrior, Hogan, title for title. And I remember, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember, I guess it was my mom or my dad. They must have like either got the VHS from a video store, they bought it, and I would just watch the VHS all the time. I remember like the VCR was like kind of like at the top of the TV, and I would have to like get on like a little step stool chair and put the thing in and hit rewind and just watch it. I would watch it from start to finish all the time. And I just became obsessed with it. It was just like the pageantry of it, and plus that one was in a dome. It was just larger than life to me, and I fell in love with it.
Awesome, awesome. By the way, you're talking to a bunch of like old guys here. I mean, well, not old. Rob is pretty young. Rob looks pretty young, but I was born '83.
Okay.
Rob was born a year before, so you got a couple of people that are like that have been watching it for like 30 plus years.
We're
So
like all, I mean, like we.
don't.
If I say something, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it was.
Yeah. Um.
Especially then, WrestleMania 6, it was two good guys. It wasn't the bad guy versus the good guy. It was just two, like, I mean, Ultimate Warrior and Hogan were my two favorites as a kid. So it made it that much better to watch, as a little 3-year-old Hulkamaniac. So.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I started my fandom for wrestling actually started with Hulk Hogan too. I remember Hulk Hogan was it was Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus the Macho King, as he was known at the time, Randy Savage and Zeus.
Brutus.
And yeah, and I remembered watching that match, and I was like, once I saw that match, I was so like obsessed. I was like, yo, that match was good. I got to see more of this. I couldn't wait to see more. And I got to learn more about people like Big Boss Man. I saw Big Boss Man take a ball and a chain and drop it on somebody's chest. And then I saw Earthquake. Oh geez, Earthquake was the first villain to ever shake fear into me. R.I.P. John Tenta.
Hey,
But
Earthquake, LSU. He was on the wrestling team back in like the 70s at LSU or 80s.
What?
Mm-hmm.
If I saw Earthquake with that size, I'm like, look, man, just take the win, man. I'm not trying to have no smoke with you, bro. I got a date tonight. Just take the win, and I'll forfeit.
I don't think he was that big in college. I think he got a lot bigger over time. But yeah, that's a big for collegiate.
But yeah,
come on, crazy.
Yeah, Earthquake was definitely the man back then, man. He struck fear in my heart. I was like, oh geez, Earthquake. And then I saw Tugboat, and then Tugboat was Hulk Hogan's friend. Like, all right, Earthquake, you gonna get it now. Tugboat's here now. He's your size.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Big Boss Man. In 1992, I was Big Boss Man for Halloween.
Oh really?
The most yeah. I remember our kindergarten yearbook. You got one kid's dressed up as like a shark. One kid's like a baseball player. One kid's a little girl's like a fairy or something. And I show up as Big Boss Man with a plastic nightstick.
Wow, it would have been cool if you had a friend back then that dressed up like Akeem. And I was like, yo, what's up, boss?
The inmate.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that? When I first saw I first saw Big Boss Man in 1990 when I started watching wrestling. And then fast forward to 1994, I remembered I was watching on VHS the first ever Survivor Series, and I was the first ever Survivor Series I ever saw in my life. And I saw a guy that was on the Andre the Giant team, and I was telling my cousin, "Hey, look, that's Big Boss Man." He's like, "No, that's One Man Gang."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" And I knew about Akeem before One Man Gang, but I didn't know they were the same person. I'm 11 years old. I'm living in Guyana, so we don't really have that much access. But I didn't know they were the same person. And then come to find out later, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, they were actually a tag team.
Mm-hmm. What was their team name? The
Twin Towers.
Twin Towers. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was yeah, I was definitely amazed by that. So you said you dressed up as Big Boss Man. Did you ever through the years? Did you dress up as like anybody else?
I've done Hollywood Hogan for a local SmackDown out in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I dressed up as Zack Ryder for Halloween years ago, and actually met a guy at one of the little get-togethers I was at, who's now a good friend of mine. He was like, "Wait, you're a wrestling fan?" And I'm like, "Yeah. I mean, I'm everyone else is dressed up, and I was all spray tanned up, looking like Zack Ryder in 2011. I think I tanned like 2 weeks straight, just to be like really tan for this party. But did that, and then it's funny. You go back and watch. You know those WWE 24 specials they do every year for like WrestleMania, where they interview
Yeah.
fans and stuff. The one in New
Mhm.
Orleans at 34 in 2018, I dressed up as Shawn Michaels. And you go back and watch, like, they show like a real quick, like, little, camera frame of me, like, on Bourbon Street. So I did Shawn Michaels, and I did Ric Flair for WrestleMania 35.
Okay.
Well, like, I didn't
Cool.
have the robe. I basically wore like my finest dress clothes, and I went and paid $100 for a white wig at the wig store. I didn't know what it cost, so I go there and I'm like, I'm
Wow.
looking for. I showed the lady a picture. I'm like, I need to find this. So she goes, and I find just like a white wig, and there's no price tag on it. Just had like the little scan, $89.99 plus tax for this player wig. Unreal.
Wow.
Good time though.
Yeah. So, have you ever, besides Zack Ryder, have you ever met any like other like professional wrestlers
Oh yeah.
throughout the time you've been a fan?
Hey, what happened 25 years ago today? Do y'all know?
25 years ago, I would have
Austin
been
316.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Boom. Austin.
What?
That was at WrestleCon in New Orleans. It was funny because I got there late, and I I was like, look, I got this Stone Cold Steve Austin meet and greet. They're like, sorry, it's over. It ended at like 11 a.m. and it was like 11:02. And I'm like, oh, come on. I was like, this is why I'm here. So they get on the little walkie-talkies and stuff, and they're like, all right, follow us. They're like, hey, you got one more. So I go in this like little tent area. And I mean, I got it real quick, but it was cool to meet him for a few seconds. Him, probably my favorite guy of all time, Mean Gene Okerlund.
Oh, Mean Gene.
That's why, I mean, I have his action figure around here somewhere, the LGN action figure. He's like, not counting like wrestlers, he's probably my favorite wrestling person of all time. I mean, I'm a kid, I know I'm not going to be probably this big wrestler, but I wanted to be Mean Gene. That was my guy. Balding hair and all. Mean Gene was a hero. And that was
I
before he
think
stopped playing, so I'm glad I got to meet him.
I think Mean Gene was everybody's guy, man. I mean,
Dude, Mean Gene
I would
O'Mania,
never
he was training with Hulk.
I would never forget an episode of Nitro. I've told this story probably like twice or three times before, probably many times. There was an episode of Nitro where Scott Hall had a feud with Lex Luger, and he told Lex Luger, and next time I'm gonna have you right down here. He did the whole DX thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So not the X crotch shot, but the wide one. So he's like, the next Monday, he's like, he says to the gang, he's like, Lex Luger, I'm gonna have you right down here. And X Pac is like, where? And he's like, Scott Hall's like, you know where? And then Mean Gene is like in the ring, and he's like, well, Scott Hall, why don't you come say it over here? And Scott Hall's like, where? And Mean Gene's like, right down here, right over here. And I was like, they probably told Scott Hall something.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do that anymore.
Dude, yeah, Mean Gene was he was good, man. He was the best. But yeah,
I remember one.
I met Hogan a couple years ago at the Hogan Beat Shop.
Yeah.
I got my Winged Eagle title was in the other room. I got him to sign it and stuff. That was cool. I mean, that's why I got into it. Was Hogan. Met Shawn Michaels years ago. He's my favorite of all time. That don't ever change.
Yeah. Yeah. Hogan.
Shawn, Jake the Snake, Diamond Dallas Page. I've met a decent amount. I mean, I haven't met your Cena's, Rocks, CM Punk's, Orton's. Never met Vince, which would be nice. I've met a good amount. Big Show, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan. So Daniel Bryan's probably one of the nicest guys I've met, and I guess in the wrestling industry. Him and Matt Hardy.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan is. Oh man, Daniel Bryan. He's a phenomenal guy. I really hope that when he retires, he considers either, if not working for WWE as a trainer, you know, which right now they're making a smart choice with Shawn Michaels, because there's been no such thing as a bad Shawn Michaels match, and Daniel Bryan has been phenomenal as well. But if not, as a WWE as a trainer at WWE's Performance Center, I hope he actually considers opening his own school,
He'll be
because
doing something in some capacity. I mean,
yeah,
you can only take his wife for so long, you know. He don't want to be
yeah,
around.
yeah. And to me, Daniel Bryan seems like one of those guys too. Like, he just wants to like wrestle and go home, and I understand that.
It's
There's
a
nothing
job.
wrong with that.
It's a passion, but
Yeah,
it's a job, you know.
and that's why you see a lot of times, like, I'm like that too. So I mean, I'm not a wrestler, but I mean, when it comes to I do my work and I go home, and that's why you see I normally respect the privacy. Not normally, I always respect the privacy of and the space of these competitors. Like, I've seen Tommaso Ciampa and Tyler Breeze backstage at a Shine event in Queens, New
Okay.
York, and I was like, I approached him. I was like, look, I'm not here to be a crazy fan. I just want to thank you guys for the work you've been doing. Keep it up. And shook Tommaso's hand, and I kept it moving. Went back to my chair, and that was it. And not only that, too, but you see that brand over there, that thing above your head? Yeah, I'm representing that too. So I don't want people thinking, hey, ringside to side is a bunch of crazy people. So
Yeah, I mean, you
yeah,
did the right thing. I mean, that's like some people, you know, they ruin it for everybody, you know. And
yeah,
it was a couple years ago. I got to know. I mean, not really know personally, but I was talking to Ryback like through Instagram and stuff, and I was helping him out with his when he had debuted like his supplement company and whatnot. And he had a book come out, and I read it. And this was a few months after he had left the WWE, and he did a show, a Thursday show in Orlando, and the main event was Brian Cage and Cody Rhodes. That was when Cody had left as well. And Ryback faced, I think, Colt Cabana. It was the Creative Pro out in New York that Pat Buck runs.
yeah. I know.
But I'm walking through the lobby, and Ryback was right there. Like, hey, Ryback, how you doing? And like, I just shook his hand. He was like, hey, walk with me. It was like this long hallway to get to like the hotel ballroom where like the ring was for the event. And he's like, walk with me. And he could tell that I wasn't going to be that guy. And I was like, man, I just got finished reading your book, blah, blah, blah. I sent you that question on your podcast. And he was like, I remember you. So, like, we're talking. It was just like two adult men talking. Some guy comes out of the bathroom. Some British fan in town for WrestleMania. And he just yells out, it's Ryback. And he just yells out. He gets his camera out. He's taking pictures of him and whatnot. It ruined it for me. He said, sorry, man, I got to go. And he just, like, walked off because he didn't want to be harassed by that guy. I looked at him and I said, damn it, man. It was frustrating, you know. I'm talking to him like an adult. Because in
Yeah,
reality, we're like 2-3 years apart, you know. There's two men talking.
yeah,
Even though, he's a known wrestler, and I get it. He's a public figure. This guy comes out of the bathroom, you know. People like that.
yeah. Some
It is what it is.
some fans, I just gotta shake my head, and I'm like, I'm just speechless with the way some of them are. Some are pretty good. We've had, this segment that we have where we give fans a chance to, like, tell their story and so on. We actually, like, we haven't had any crazed fans on here. I hope we never do. But yeah, I mean, some fans are just like, I just like the one that tackled Bret Hart. I was like,
Oh,
really, bro? Like, why?
I was at the Ring of Honor. I was at the Ring of Honor show in Madison Square Garden when that happened. I was there. That was like, my friend that I went with had never been to Madison Square Garden, and I went to the Hall of Fame in 2013. And for the WrestleMania 29 weekend. So we go to the Ring of Honor. See, we had went thinking it was going to be like Cody, Cody Rhodes, the Bucks, Kenny Omega, all them. But that's when AEW started. So now it's not as big of an event than what it, I guess, should have been. But we're all sitting in Madison Square Garden. It's middle of the card, and everyone's got their phones out saying like, "Oh, Bret Hart got attacked at the Hall of Fame," and that was like all we were talking about. They had a match going on. I don't know who it was, and everyone's like, got their phones out like, "Is Bret Hart okay? Is he? What happened?" Crazy.
The Hart family is one of my favorites. They've been very down to earth. I mean, we actually had and I'm not saying this for clout. We had Mike the Match Hart on here. And it's funny because he actually like follows like my personal Instagram, and he's a really great guy and whatnot. And we had him on here, and he was like down to earth as anything and mad chill. And yeah, the guy was definitely the Hart. I love the Hart family, man. Like Owen was the one of those few wrestlers. I've had favorites, and then I've had favorites, and the few that I can actually relate to. Yeah. That was Owen Hart. I've been a fan of the Bulldogs and the Hart Foundation, and Bret Hart was like, when I saw Bret Hart wearing a leather jacket, I was like, I want a leather jacket because it's Bret Hart. You need cool and whatnot. Not only that, too, we also had the Fonz. At that time when I discovered Bret Hart, there was the Fonz too, and I was like, yo,
yeah,
I want me a leather jacket, Do
you have a Stu Hart impression?
Ray Barton?
Do you have a Stu Hart impression?
No, I don't. I don't have a Stu Hart impression.
Yeah. No.
But
the Hart family, that is wrestling. That's such a huge part of wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. When I saw that, and the thing was, Bret was doing so like, he gave a very like great interview, and I was so into it. And then next thing I saw this guy tackle him, and I was like, you bleeping idiot! Like, why?
I think it's security. I still don't get it. Like, I don't.
I probably, if I was working for that company, they probably would have fired me because I would have beat that guy. Like Bret Hart's it's not my family, but I would have beat him. I would have punched him like a couple of times for two things: for interrupting a great speech, and then ruin it for the other fans. That's what I would have done.
Well, I probably would have gotten out. Shane McMahon was like the first one that got in. Shane got in, and like a bunch of other wrestlers. But then once they carried him off, that's when Cash Wheeler and Dax they're just like knocking this guy out. And they're he deserved it. He deserved
that. I mean, you couldn't have waited out. If you want to, and I tell fans this in general, if you really want it to be about you, if you really want to get eyes on you in the wrestling business, go train.
Yeah.
Go train. Go to a wrestling school, do your craft, learn, listen, shut up, learn, and listen. When they give you the okay, the certificate that you graduated, then you can have all the eyes on you want. But when you do stuff like jump over the rail and stuff, and you say all these creepy things, and you touch them in the appropriate way, you're touching up on Alexa Bliss, which I saw on a video, and then you want to touch up on Roman, which is why I heard he never did that. He stopped doing the walk through the crowd entrance because apparently women were, and this is what I heard, women were actually groping and touching things they weren't supposed to touch him. It just messes up the whole thing for everybody,
Well, I mean, if one person does it, it ruins it for everyone. So.
Yeah.
I think that would happen with the Shield anyway because they got really popular. And then, I mean,
yeah. Before I go any further, for those of y'all, if y'all are hearing an echo on the video, we apologize. It's just something you just have to bear with. We've tried to deal with it in the past. But we apologize for the echo. And Alicia, to answer your question, I just saw your comment. Yes. You can definitely go ahead and post that as well. So not only do you watch WWE, you watch like other like promotions as well, right? Ring of Honor and indie promotions, right? 'Cause I saw you mentioned Ring of Honor, and then you mentioned WrestlePro, which I'm familiar with.
Mhm.
But yeah, what other promotions are you like? Do you like watch and attend?
Well, I mean, basically like the main stuff. I mean, of course, WWE, which it's not even the best product right now. It's really not. I mean, I've gotten so much into AEW lately, and of course, I watch
Okay.
But I mean, as far I guess watching regularly other like small promotions, not really. I mean, I basically just watch the main. I mean, I'll see what's going on in other promotions like your NWAs, maybe stuff out in New York, Florida, Texas, but you know, regularly just AEW, WWE, NXT, NWA if it's something good.
Have you been to any of the shows out in like Louisiana, like Wildcat, Elevate Pro, or
Wildcat.
have you been to like?
No, yeah. You said you live in New York.
Say that again.
You said you live in New York.
I'm in North Carolina
Oh, okay.
right now, but
How'd you hear about Wildcat?
so I'm one of those crazy guys, crazy wrestling fans. Like I watch a lot of wrestling like online. Um, so I know about certain places like Championship Wrestling from Hollywood in LA, and then there's Championship Wrestling from Arizona in Arizona. I've never like I don't live in those places, but I actually like if I see it online, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna try my best to watch it on a weekly basis. So that's how I tend to know. I just watch a lot of wrestling and so on, like
Okay. Yeah,
OVW. I know about it.
yeah, I'm real familiar with Wildcat because my best friend Ryan, he he's known Luke Hawks. He's the founder owner of Wildcat. And I don't know if y'all saw the video about a year ago of the guy that was at the mall and he jumped from like the second floor of the mall onto the
Yeah,
That's
PJ
Luke
Hawks.
Hawks' son. And they've wrestled in
Yeah,
lately. I think PJ had a match
that
or Big Cass.
that boy is gonna go far. Like PJ Hawks.
No, he's like he's maybe early 20s. I mean, Hawks. I don't think Hawks is 40 yet. So his
Yeah.
son is early 20s. And I've met them guys. But we'll always sit front row. They got a show since that'd be fun.
Man, I tell you, I wish Kathy was on there, man, because Kathy's from Louisiana too. Y'all probably had a lot to talk about the wrestling scene over there. She actually travels. I don't know if you've ever been to any of the Texas wrestling events, but she travels from
local. I haven't.
She travels from um, New York, from Louisiana to Texas to watch like reality wrestling and Renegade Wrestling Revolution and all those places. Yeah.
I think I've met her before. I don't know where or when. I saw her name. I think she had retweeted something on y'all's page, and I saw it, and I was like, I couldn't tell you where I've met her, but I know she is.
Yeah. Oh snap! She's actually in the chat room right now. Kathy, how you doing?
Oh, I see the chat.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But so I just got one last question before I turn it over to Rob. I know Rob has a couple questions for you. So how did the SWX podcast get started? How did that come about?
But it was something I always wanted to do. I mean, when I was like 10, 11 years old, my dream basically was to become like a sports broadcaster, journalism, whatnot. Didn't exactly happen. And I was a friend of mine. He had started a podcast, the Knockouts and Three Counts podcast, and he's based out in Detroit. Kyle Collison. It's funny because all the people you meet in wrestling, like I guess being a fan, like you never know who you're sitting next to, and like I'll talk to anybody. I've met. That's how I meet people. And I'm sitting next to this dude at WrestleMania 34, we're just talking, we're BSing and stuff. He's like, yeah, I got this podcast, blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, cool. So he tells me what it is. And I go to Money in the Bank in 2018 in Chicago, and he went. So we link up, and we're just, we become buddies. And he's telling me about his show and whatnot. And it was last year during the pandemic. I was out of work for 2 months, and I just had nothing to do, no one really to talk to. And I was like, I got to get this going. I have to get this going. So it just started. I haven't really done a whole lot since, because just life happens and work and stuff. But the next few months, I'm going to get it back going. But I haven't really done that many episodes. And I was doing some like YouTube stuff, like just reviewing matches and stuff. It was basically just stuff I do like at night at home, just to get, content out. Because the original idea was last year, I was trying to do a whole bunch of shows to where I can maybe get some kind of like some media passes, like for local sporting events around town, around by my house, maybe like a college stuff or maybe high school. But that's when everything just shut down, and there was no media, there was no nothing. And but yeah, I'm gonna get it back started.
Well, we definitely look forward to seeing what SWX has to bring. We always wish everybody the best and whatnot, and the pandemic cost a lot of people like opportunities and so on. So with everything reopening, hopefully hopefully we can see a lot more of SWX and what they have to bring to the table in the coming years. In the coming years, actually, because we're hoping that you stick around for a while as well too. So we wish you all the best in that.
It's basically been like a lot of just listening, watching stuff. I haven't really put out much content lately, and when y'all reached out the other day, I was like, all right, this is a wake up call. This isn't just an interview. This is like, all right, let's get it going. Let's get it going. So thank y'all for reaching out.
Yeah, no problem, man. We like I said, we don't mind like having like fellow podcasters on our show and whatnot either. I mean, end of the day, man, we're all the same. We all have the same goal, and we have like some of us have different opinions and so on. And I always look at this way: you may have a different opinion on something than I do, And so it's always good to have the fans, like those that want this, because there's those fans that are like, it's their opinion alone, and that's them. But for those that want to hear both sides of the coin, we're always that's always a good thing, So we don't mind having like fellow like podcasters on it as well too. Just to like give their opinions and their stories and so on. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob though. I know you have some questions for you, so Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, Cody, man? How's everything doing your way?
Man, it's going pretty well, man. It's really, really hot in Louisiana.
That's good, man. Whatever. Oh, it is? Yeah, man. It's getting that summertime, man. You got to watch out for them swamp monsters down there, too, don't you?
Where I live, it's not really a thing.
Oh, yeah? You don't got the skunk ape down there? Okay, you ain't got the skunk ape or whatever? You don't know what that is? I was watching, it was like Travel Channel or something, and it's the, like, Southern Bigfoot. It's what they call Bigfoot in the South, skunk ape, because I guess whenever it comes by, think it's a skunk, but, nah, it's some, giant ape or whatever.
Never seen it.
Okay, cool.
never, not in my part. Not in my part.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because I always ask people about that. If they're all from here from Texas or whatever, be like, man, y'all ever seen the chupacabra? Have you been from Minnesota? I'll be like, yeah, you ever been to the lakes of Minnetonka? You ever purified yourself in them? Oh, man.
Yo, that's from that's Dave
Chappelle show. Yeah. He was like, why don't you purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka? We were talking about like wrestling stuff, man. Speaking of that, I was watching King of the Hill the other day, and it was one of the episodes where Bobby had to wrestle Connie in their school or whatever, and they were like, the coach was like, oh yeah, you gotta do it, and they were like trying to find a way out, couldn't find a way out, so. When they got on there, the first thing they did there, like the night before, they watched a videotape of wrestling or whatever, WWE, whatever, WCW. And then they came in the next day, Bobby comes in, hits her with a backbreaker, like, what? And then she gets up, she's like, hits him with the zombie thing. So he's like, and they're like, that's not wrestling. That's real wrestling. And all the kids got all hyped and they're like, go, go. I was like, yes, that's awesome.
You got to make it look real.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Enough people call it fake. I mean, it's don't use the F word.
Oh, no. Yeah, man, I help out with like 1CW and stuff, man. They help me there, man. They're awesome, man. They're helping me train to be a ref and stuff and all that stuff. And I'm telling you, man, yeah, it's not a soft landing spot, man. You know, man, it's 2x10s and a little foam thing. That's it. That's what you landing on. Whew.
Yeah, like WrestleMania 35, it was something that this guy, a friend of mine, Jamie, put together called Mania Crawl. And it was they basically put together. It's a fundraiser, but we go from one spot to the next. And the first one was in New Orleans on Bourbon Street. I don't know if y'all been down there, but it's 100 bars in the street. But what was I getting? Oh yeah, 35 in New York. I'm dressed up as Flair, so I'm doing like Flair spots, and I'm doing like the Flair flop. Where I'm falling. You really fall on your face, and it can really hurt, and that's just me doing the Flair flop. Kurt Angle put me in the ankle lock at one of the bars. It hurt. It's not fake.
Oh, that's right.
No, we had a good time.
That's right. That's fun. That's funny. Yeah, man. Yeah, I love having the wrestlers. Yeah, it's cool meeting the wrestlers and hanging out with them. Chatting with them, man. Yeah, having good times, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a show Saturday. I was doing security and all, man. One of the wrestlers, it was an old school lumberjack match, where the wrestlers on the outside had belts. You know what I mean? So when the wrestler came out, he beat him with the belt. I'm sitting there, you know what I mean? One of the wrestlers, Killian McMurphy's over there, like, I'm gonna get you next, Rob Bass. Pow, hit me in the arm. Like, I'm just I'm trying to stop the old lady from hopping over and beating you up, man. Yeah, why you want to beat me?
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, that was funny because that same old lady, she was like, "Are you working security?" I was like, "Yeah." And she was talking to the dude doing the video. She's like, "Can you take him outside and beat him up?" I was like, "Oh man, what do you want me to rough the man up for?" You know what I mean?
You're like, I'm trying to get a little payday here.
There you go, man. I'm just trying to be nice, man. We trying to do our thing, man. Like, oh man. So when you were saying, you said you started watching about 87 or whatever, man.
No,
were you
1990.
or you're born 87? Yeah. Were you? Did you ever see ECW?
Yes.
Ooh. See, I'm in Delaware, man, and Philly's right there. Oh man, they used to come here all the time.
Man, we got it kind of. I know they came to Baton Rouge kind of toward the end, but I mean, I never went to like an actual. Now I went to a WWE ECW show like 2010. I was, whatever. I think actually the last WWE ECW show was in Baton Rouge.
Oh, okay.
Because they stopped like February 2010. That's when it just they just quit airing it. But as far as like old school ECW, we didn't really get it. I guess in the South, it was more up.
Yeah.
You are. But yeah, I was one of those kids that would have to go in the living room at like midnight or 1 a.m. and it was on like some local, some public service channel that you had to find. It was like channel 11 or 10 or something. So I had to like turn off all the lights, make sure my parents' bedroom was closed, make sure they were sleeping. I go in the living room and to watch at midnight, and I'm watching Sabu and RVD and all these guys going through flaming tables, and you got Francine flaunting her tits out and everything, and I loved it. I thought ECW was great.
Oh yeah, ECW was awesome. I remember going to a show one time and I had a sign, like this is Dudleyville because I love the Dudleys, even back then.
Those damn Dudleys.
Yeah, I had a sign up, right? And I'm like, yeah, this is Dudleyville, Dudley's you, man. And Bubba Ray looks at that and is like, this ain't Dudleyville. You better put that sign down. You're getting ready to come out there, him and Devon. I'm like, all right, man, you know what I mean? So then they start fighting. It was them two versus Spike and Balls, I think. And, they started fighting out in the ring outside by us. And I remember they powerbombed Spike on a desk. Like, not a breakable table or anything. Like it was in a college, one of the desks that, college students sit in. Right on the thing, bam. So I'm like, oh, he turns, looks at me, he's like, you the one with the sign? What about Dudleyville now? And I'm like, oh man, I gotta go, man. You guys are too crazy. No, man, I'm not getting the 3D, man. I come to see you beat y'all up, man. Like, nope. Yeah, but they were good times.
I mean, it was good for its time. You couldn't do it nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but I mean, you know how it goes. It wouldn't work.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really like watch death matches and all now as I gotten older. You know what I mean? Like, I had my fill when I was younger. I got to see it. Right now it's more gratuitous at this point. It's like,
Did you watch the Nick Gage thing? Did y'all watch that on?
yes,
What was it on Vice or whatever?
yeah. I was gonna ask you about that.
Dude,
Yeah.
he like died in the middle of the ring against that guy. Like,
that was right here in Delaware too.
I was about to say like it was somewhere in. Were you there?
No, I don't. No, I don't go to that stuff, man. Yeah, but yeah, it's like probably like about 45 minutes north of me or whatever. Yeah, because people always ask me like, "Do you go to those death matches up there?" And I'm like, "Man, that's a little crazy."
Well, like no one goes. Like I saw a clip a few weeks ago, wherever he was, and there might have been 100 people there. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh
What's
man.
it called? The LDK.
Yeah, it's like the Tournament of Death something.
No, his crew. It's
MDK, Murder, Death, Kill. Like
okay, I was thinking it was Live, Die, Kill.
Yeah, no, I think it's like a Demolition Man, where they're like Murder, Death, Kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
With him and Cardona, Zack Ryder, that's actually pretty cool.
I've seen.
I'll buy if that's on like a Fight TV and it's like say $14.95 to buy it. I'll buy it.
Oh yeah. Now, did you see that? Speaking of Nick Gage, you see the it's on Hulu. David. Oh man, I can't remember his name.
David Arquette.
David Arquette one. Yeah, did you see that when he fought him and Nick Gage? Got into a wrestling match and stuff. Nick Gage like punctured his jugular. In the match.
Oh, they mentioned it on that show.
Yeah.
I've seen clips, but yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, he was because really on the thing, that was the first time I heard about it, man, because I was like, Arquette, he went in there, he punctured it, and he just like got out, and I was like, oh, and then he turned around, went back in for the finish. I was like,
well, it turned into like okay, because I think he said do whatever, but don't touch my face. I'm an actor, where I make my money right here.
So he takes pizza cutter.
And then he got him. And that's when, being a man, that's when, you just got to do what you got to do at this point. Now it's a shoot, and they were kicking each other's ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand the frustration. He was pissed.
Yeah. I liked when, what was it, Moxley was up there earlier. He was like, yeah, I'm wrestling him and all, and he takes out the pizza cutter, and I'm like, oh, man, and then he hits me with, and then the crowd starts cheering, so I feel him just getting, yeah, like he's going to do it again. I'm like, oh, damn it, like, crowd, please calm down. And he comes in there, puts it in my mouth. Oh. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
He was he said, first thing I did was make sure my tongue was still there. I thought he cut out my tongue. I was like, oh my God.
Now, there was the Wildcat 2 years ago. It was Luke Hawks. I was mentioning him earlier, the guy that I guess runs the promotion or whatnot. Him and Shane Douglas. It was Shane Douglas and him had like this rivalry going on, and they broke out the pizza cutter. And we're sitting front row. It was like right in front of us. And then they had a beer bottle, but we found out it was sugar glass. They broke it, and it comes on to us. And we're like, oh, yeah. Good time.
Yeah, that's the
better, no thanks.
Yeah, that stuff's crazy. Yeah. We got going up there, ECW live, man, watching them. Yeah, they're crazy. My mom, she wouldn't let me go to Philly or whatever with my brother, because my brother, I was 17 at the time. My brother was like 10, 11. He's 16, 17, 10, 11-year-old going up to ECW by herself. She was like, no. When they're around here, within driving distance, like half hour or something, you're good, Yeah, but no, you ain't going up to Philly like that. It's like, oh, come on, Mom, man. Why you got to be like that?
You're not cool, Mom.
Yeah, man. And then, I talked to, we've had wrestlers on here that, went there as fans or worked there and all, and they're like, oh, yeah, it was wild. Yeah, it was wild in there. Like,
I can imagine.
It was like, yeah, you're glad your mom didn't let you go. Like, I'm glad too.
I've met people in the past where their parents wouldn't let them watch wrestling in general as a kid.
Oh yeah, I've met people like that too.
They're like 7 years old, and they're like, yeah, I had to go to my cousin's house to watch it. And I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It had like a TV 14 rating at one point.
Yeah,
it was nothing that I would, if I had a son or a daughter, nothing I would ban them from.
Yeah. See, my parents, they had me young. They're like 20, 21, 22, and they had me. So they're kind of liberal with what I watched, So I would go to school like, did you all watch Commando or Predator and all? And they're like, I'm not allowed to watch that. I'm not even gonna let us watch that. It's like, really? Like, why not? You ever seen Eddie Murphy Raw? Now, so I'm like, oh, I got some jokes for you. Oh man, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, it's crazy. So I gotta ask you, man. You were like saying you're a fan, AEW, what they're doing right now. I gotta ask you, man, who's gonna be the one to take down Omega? Who do you think? Do you have any ideas right now, or is it too far ahead for you?
Right now, it's too far ahead.
Yeah.
You can't take it off of him yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan. See, I love Jim Cornette. I don't know
Yeah.
if y'all listen to his podcast and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I hear it. Yeah. He's wild, I mean, but he tells it like it is,
He
I mean? It's
does.
like sometimes you don't agree with him and all, but it's like he tells it like it is. Like,
He trashes it. I mean, he loves MJF. There's certain guys he loves,
mm-hmm.
like Sammy Guevara. He loves Ricky Starks, who he's probably my top 5 right now. I mean, he's hurt right now, but he was. I think he's 27. He was like 19 years old. He did a thing at Wildcat in like 2013. And it was funny because it was the first time I went to like an independent show, and the main event was Matt Hardy versus Hawks.
Oh, nice.
And Hardy versus Hawks in a ladder match, and Hardy came out with what's his name, his wife Rebby,
mm-hmm.
and Luke Hawks comes out with Trina Michaels.
Okay.
I don't know if you are familiar with her.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, she did like some like managing and stuff, but she's a big name in like the adult entertainment industry.
Oh, okay.
So he comes out with this porn star, and my buddy who like has never been to a wrestling show, he's like, "Man, this is awesome," And but on the way home, he was like, "What was that guy's name? That little smart ass guy?" I was like, "Who? Ricky Starks?" He was like, "Yeah, that guy's cool." But like that guy stood out 8 years ago to us in some like rundown gym in freaking the West Bank of New Orleans, which is like that's like the pit of New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like if you're from the West Bank, it's a thing down there. But yeah, as far as getting the title off Omega, not right now. I mean, he'll be champion going into 2022, I think. I think they're waiting for the right time to get to. I think CM Punk's in the back pocket.
Ooh.
Honestly, that's just me.
Okay.
You're not going to bring him back right now, or especially 2 months ago in front of like 1,000 people in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to bring him back at Double or Nothing because you didn't want it to be about just him. You wanted to feature. That was the first time in front of 5,000 people in over a year. I think they're saving it for something. I could see Punk Omega next year at Double or Nothing, which would be absolutely incredible.
That would. Now I'm just I'm trying to campaign for my boy Orange Cassidy to get be the TNT champ or something. Yeah, or a tag champ or something, man. I love him, man. I loved watching him in the Indies and stuff. So when he joined AEW, I was like, oh yes.
He's been that character for like his whole time, huh?
Yeah, pretty much, man. A long time. Yeah, from when I first seen him. Yeah, he was always like that. Like,
yeah, it was a picture from like 2012. He did a show in some bar.
Yeah,
I saw a picture recently. You could tell he's much younger. It was 19 years ago, and they were saying he was doing that, blue jean jacket, hands in the pockets character. Which at first I thought this was just stupid. I hated it. I don't hate the character. I do hate the kicks that he does, the little shin kicks.
Yeah.
That's to me that's just silly. But I mean, the crowd likes it. So I mean, it is what it is. Whenever you have kids dressing up like you, that's when you're doing pretty good.
Oh yeah. When the merch sales are doing well,
Isn't he like number 1 right now or 2?
I believe he probably is. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Now I do like Pac, man. Pac, man, because I grew up. I call him Pac, man, just because of Tupac. Pac. I gotta keep remembering Pac. Man, I want to see him like get a run at some time, man. But man, he is great in the ring, man. Like I'd love to see a run with him or something at some point. I
remember the match he had against Rollins at that Raw like a few years ago.
Oh yes.
It was like when Rollins was like defending the title consistently. That was the last time I was like absolutely just duped off of a near pinfall. I'm thinking like, is Neville about to win the title just for like maybe a day or two?
Yeah.
Or a week. And I remember because like I don't really watch too many Raws live now, but I was watching every week live, on the couch. I jump up and I'm doing the 1, 2, no, so I'm a fan of him because of that.
Okay. Yeah, I like Neville. Yeah, I thought I like him because
He's
he's he's just mean. Like, yeah, he goes in there. He's like, I love like Fit Finley. I love Finley because he just wants to go in there and fight.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
just
fighting.
there really is no character. He's not like good on the mic, but I mean,
Yeah.
he's just hey, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like William Regal.
Yeah. Yeah, Regal. Oh man, I love Regal. I remember I remember when he first signed WWE, they tried to mess with him. You know, he's a man's man. You know,
He's a man.
I was like, how you gonna do that to Lord Steven Regal, man? That was my boy in WCW, man. Yeah, Lord Steven Regal. And then he was like, I was like, all right.
Yeah. And they did like the little vignettes of him like in a big field, like cutting wood and stuff.
Yeah, he's like a lumberjack. Yeah. He got a big British accent. He's over there like, yeah, oh man.
Clean cut. I mean, it's not gonna work.
Now, I don't know if you've seen on Raw the other night, but Molly Holly. Well, not Molly Holly. Nikki Cross has got her inner Molly Holly on or whatever. Did you see that? Did you see any of that?
I saw it.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, Nikki Cross is so adorable. I love her so much. You know, I'm like, I'll give her a chance. You know, but you know,
if anybody can get that going, it would be her. But it's like because you're hearing reports that Vince wants characters, which isn't that what wrestling's built on, characters?
Pretty much.
I mean, that's what you should have been doing forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess watching it as an adult, I'm like, ugh. But, I mean, I guess if I'm a 12-year-old girl or something, I'm like, okay. I mean, I can see. I mean, you can build something on it.
See, because I was watching, I was like, all right, so let's say I was like thinking, like, let's say her thing it doesn't work, she can always go back to being Crazy Nikki. You know what I mean? Like super villain. You know, what I mean? Right now she's a superhero. Go to Crazy Nikki, bam, super villain.
that could work, and they probably thought about that. You know,
yeah,
since that didn't work, she just goes back to being the crazy psycho that she once was. It could work.
Yeah, I missed that. I wish she would come back as that. Oh,
yeah. Now, I do believe that all the stuff that they've done in the past year in front of no fans, you can't do that with fans in the crowd. Like the Alexa Bliss, like the Goo and the Randy Orton Goo.
Yeah.
You're not doing that in front of a Chicago crowd.
Yeah, that's why I think that Doll's in timeout or whatever, because they're getting ready to fans are getting ready to come back and all. You can't be having the Doll doing floating doing crazy stuff.
Well, like Vince McMahon has said, like they're not going to remember. You know, they're booking week to week. They may not even mention this Doll ever again.
Yeah, they didn't because
it could be dead.
Yeah, because Nikki Cross and Alexa, they didn't mention anything about them, and they've been feuding for a past while, and they had a tag match, to qualify for Money in the Bank. They didn't say anything. I'm like, I remember.
I'm still wondering whatever happened to Damian Priest.
Oh yeah, where is he? Keith Lee.
Him and Keith Lee are hanging out somewhere.
Yeah, I guess catching a check, and you're like, all right,
So frustrating, man.
Same with me again.
Her too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying, man, I'm hoping like one of them they come out because I heard SummerSlam they're going to try and make it real big because it's first time like fans can go, a lot of fans instead of WrestleMania. So hopefully like they can come up there and maybe get a match or something, get Keith Lee, Damian Priest back or something, challenge Roman, you know what I mean, something because I want to know who's going to challenge Bobby after Kofi because. Kofi, I think they're just giving him a match, to fill in, for the pay-per-view till SummerSlam.
I read something about Big E and Lashley, possibly.
Ooh, that would be cool.
After SummerSlam.
That would be cool.
I mean, I guess maybe they think that Lesnar's not coming back. They're trying to figure. I mean, Big E is definitely playing B. I mean, of course you want Lesnar back.
So I don't normally, and I'm very sorry to cut you, Cody and Rob. I don't normally say this. I probably shouldn't say this, but nah. Cody versus Bobby. I mean, Big E versus Bobby Lashley. I don't know, man. I mean, Bobby Lashley's an MMA fighter / he's not just a big weightlifter guy. I mean, the man can go in that ring. I mean, Bobby Lashley was the champion that should have been 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting, but I think Bobby's gonna dominate that, man. Like, he's gonna dominate that.
No, for sure. I mean, Big E's not taking the title off of him, but now you just got to come up with challenges.
Yeah, that's because that's what I'm thinking about with the women's division too. Because like with Rhea and Charlotte doing their thing, like who's next? You know what I mean? It's like Becky's coming back or something. You know when Becky comes back, she's like she wants her belt back. You know, she's gonna be first in line
Well,
probably.
she never
You know?
lost it. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so she's gonna be right there. So I'm like, who's next in line for all this? You know, because they released all the ladies. You know what I mean? And they don't have any tag, teams and all. I'm like, man. Now they got Piper Niven on here, but no. What's Dewdrop? Oh,
Dewdrop.
yeah, Dewdrop. Oh my lord.
Dewdrop.
Okay. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Dude,
What?
it's so bad. It's
Yeah.
so bad. Oh man. Okay, what's the first three letters of the name? D-O-U.
Yeah. DOU.
Donut. D-O-U.
Mm-hmm.
Donut.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do drop the pounds. I mean, this is like Vince Russo said, this is a rib.
Oh, see, that's messed up, man. Oh man. Yeah.
No, he's not saying. He's saying
I know.
a rib from.
I know.
Company.
Yeah. I know. That's what I mean. Yeah, they're messed up. That's messed up for them.
It is messed
man.
up.
Like, yo, why would you do that? Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you can come up with. You can come up with anything better than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
because I was just thinking of it when I was looking at her for her because she had blew a tire on. I guess maybe it was because like a raindrop. Like,
that's what I thought the same thing.
Yeah, because I was like, all right.
Uh-oh. Rob disappeared.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it happens. He'll be
He got
back.
released like Lana.
He'll be back.
Okay. But yeah, Dewdrop, man. I think because a lot of things nowadays, like you can have like social media backlash and stuff, and people may change their mind. I think that name. There he is.
Yeah, my bad.
You good? I think that name. I think she'll be called something else by SummerSlam. I think
I think just backlash. I'm sorry, but Vince is so damn greedy. Leave the name at Piper Niven. Why you gotta change her name to Dewdrop? Piper Niven is just fine.
Put their name on it.
Jeez, Vince is. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say this. That's why I was laughing when Universal Studios dinged them for actually trying to use their image without them knowing. I was like, and there's nothing they could do about it because that's Universal Studios thing. But yeah, go ahead, Rob, man. Welcome back.
Oh yeah, no, my bad. I don't know what happened, man. Sometimes it cuts out like that, man. I was like, oh man, my battery done ran out. No, I'm good. I don't know.
No, what I was saying. Have y'all heard the story about Vader and like whenever he came into WWF?
No, I kind of heard like Shawn Michaels and them were messing with him.
Well, no. It was like because Vader comes in and that's That's one of Jim Cornette's guys.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince McMahon tells Vader, he's like, "You're gonna be the Mastodon. You're gonna be the Mastodon." And Jim Cornette's like, "No, he's Vader. He's Vader."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wanted to take the name Mastodon, copyright it, put his name on it. But no, I mean.
Yeah. That's crazy.
They want to copyright Dewdrop, and they're basically just having Bruce Pritchard and Vince and Kevin Dunn are just having fun backstage, making fun of an overweight woman.
Yeah, that's messed up, man.
I'm not saying she's overweight, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's messed up, man. You get messing with people like that. Ugh, man, that grinds my gears. Steal a Family Guy quote.
She agreed to it because she wants to be on TV.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Messed up.
Plus, they're paying her, too, man. It's like, it's probably in her contract, like, oh, yeah. Like, because you know how they probably do it, man. A lot of those wrestlers are like, man, I'm going to hit the big time, and they slide that little, thing in the contract, you know what I mean? And, some wrestlers like, yep, sound dotted line. It's like,
yeah. It's like Dolph Ziggler. I mean, his first character, he was Spirit Squad, then he was, was it, Kerwin, or he was Chavo Guerrero's caddy. Then he becomes Dolph Ziggler. But still, it's just, you're selling your soul, man. That's why AEW is becoming so much more popular now because everyone's starting to wake up to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because Raw, the only reason, like WWE, the only reason I think SmackDown is better because of the Roman Reigns thing. If they didn't have Roman in them right now, I'd say SmackDown is probably just as bad as Raw.
If Roman Reigns got hurt now, or let's just say his leukemia 3 years ago was still a thing, and let's say he had to just like retire, like no more wrestling. You have to just leave. You cannot be an athlete. You have to be. You can't do it anymore. SmackDown would be just as bad as Raw, if not worse.
Oh yeah. I'm just like, ugh.
I hate to talk bad about it, but I mean, it is what it is.
I know. It's like, man, I've been a fan for so long. Yeah.
Okay, like I said before, like, all right, years ago in 2012, I had a roommate, and he would always he'd come in like at the wrong time. Always, I'm watching Raw in the living room. He'd always come in like at the worst times. Like it'd be Heath Slater doing like one-man band stuff backstage, and he's like, "Why are you watching this?" And I'm just like, "Ah." And 5 minutes later, it'd be like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I'm like, just stick around for a minute, But like, if someone were to walk in my house right now and they're seeing like someone like Reginald get hypnotized by Alexa Bliss, they're gonna be like, "What are you doing? Why are you watching this?" But apparently, Vince McMahon loves him some Reginald, from what they're saying, like in reports.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not gonna go away.
Yeah.
It's silly.
Yeah, that's it. Because it was like what I was saying earlier about King of the Hill when Connie hit Bobby with the little zombie thing. It was like, and he went, and they're like, "Snap out of it, Bobby!" Like, what?
That's a cartoon.
Yeah, I know. It was like that. It was like, yeah, it's crazy. I know.
We're talking about real people.
I know. I mean, you are in Louisiana, man. They do that voodoo down there, man. So
there's a little bit of it down there.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're talking to somebody who hasn't, I've never said, Candyman, Bloody Mary, Beetlejuice 3 times in a row or anything, because just in case something happens,
True.
I can't, because, I don't want some crazy dude like, Michael Keaton type person running around here causing all types of shenanigans and stuff, man. Woo.
Could happen.
I know, man. Yeah. I ain't trying to have that. So, yeah, man, I want to say, boss man thing. What was your favorite boss man? Old school boss man, SWAT team boss man?
Oh, old school boss man.
You like old school boss man better?
Yeah.
Yeah, old school. I like old school boss man, but yeah, I'm always prefer. I like SWAT team, man. I don't know, it's that music and all too. When he came out with all black, just I don't know.
But then he has that match with the Undertaker, Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 15, like they hang.
Yes.
He was like literally just like hanging for like a long time.
Yeah, they had, you could see the little harness, he was sitting there hanging from. It was all like,
that's not good.
I remember I was taking a trip to Florida, and we went through Cobb County, Georgia, and stopped at a store, and a cop was there. Cobb County. Yeah, and we were like, yo, a couple of our friends, we're all wrestling fans, like, yo, it's Big Boss, man. They're like, hey, can we get a picture of you, like, frisking us and all? Yeah, cop, man. He's like, yeah, throwing us up on the car. I'm like, and we're over there like, Big Boss, man,
That's funny. Have you heard the story about when it was Vince and Jim Ross got pulled over for a speeding ticket, and Vince McMahon tells Jim Ross talks about it in his book. They get pulled over, and Vince is like, I don't know if you know who I am, but I'm Vince McMahon. I'm the CEO of WWE. We run the nationally telecast Monday Night Raw, and this is good old Jim Ross. He's our announcer. And they get out of the ticket. Ticket, whatever. So he's explaining everything to him, like, we're the WWE, we're in town. And then the cop says, well, I guess I must be the Big Boss man then. He said, here's your warning. And they just like drove off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah. I wonder what would happen, man, if, a cop, you pull somebody over, man, you're a wrestling fan. It's like, yeah, Vince McMahon, okay, you go up there, you're like, do a double take, like, for real?
It's Kennedy McMahon.
That's right. You're like, oh, for real? Yeah, because you probably see the name, like, like Michael B. Jordan, the actor. Like, I heard stories, like, when he was younger, like, he would, like, order a pizza, and he'd be like, yeah, what's the name? He's like, Michael Jordan. They'd be like, man, click. And he's like, what? Like, yo, come on, man. My name
trying to order pizza.
Yeah, it's like, I need pizza. You know what I mean? They're like, or somebody be like, oh, man, I'm delivering to Michael Jordan. And they go up there, and it's like, oh, here you go.
Yeah. Here's your stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, what do y'all think about this? Hold on.
Oh, man, that is old school Lex Luger stuff, man.
IcoPro.
Oh man, I wonder if they still if you could find some of that stuff on eBay. Do
Can't
they
find
still? You can't.
I've tried.
Oh, okay.
Trust me.
Because I was going to say, man, because there's this YouTuber I watch. His name's LA Beast, and he eats all kinds of crazy stuff, man. Like he's kind of like Ryback, you know. And yeah. Oh look, Ryback, he did this thing one time, the one chip challenge. I did that, and but he did it and went through a drive-through. And
it's like a hot chip or something. It's like a jalapeno chip.
Yeah, it's a chip, and it's got like it's pretty much dipped in pepper spray, like with police spray in your face or bear mace or something. And you eat it. Oh man, that thing was I was all right, and then it got out of me quick though, man. That was awful though. But once it was out of me, I was good. It's just every time I burped for like next couple of days, I tasted chemicals. You know what I mean? It was like no matter what I ate, man, I was like, yo, I need some Italian food, like something garlic in it. No, that's chemical. It was like, wow.
There's a place actually right by my house. They used to do it. I think they got like sued or something, but it was a. I don't know if y'all you ever heard of jambalaya?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, like it's like mainly like a Louisiana dish, and you could some people put hot sauce in it to make it taste better. But there was a hot sauce that they made where it's basically you put one drop in like a huge pot of it to give it a little bit of spice.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a place, it was like a hot sauce place or something, a little small, tiny building that you had to sign a waiver to try it. And if you sign a waiver, like, and if you get sick, it's not on them.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it and I was sick for about 2 days.
Mm.
And there was a little, like a New Orleans Saints, LSU, like memorabilia place right next door. Mm. So I go in there just to kind of like look around, but I'm basically just trying to walk it off.
Yeah.
And I bend down as if I'm like out of breath, kind of by like the shirt rack and stuff. And the lady just assumed that I was from that hot sauce place. She says, "Sir, if you're going to puke, please get out of my store now." I said, "I'm not going to puke. I'm just not feeling very well." She said, "Sir, I need you to get out of this building now."
Mm-hmm. Oh,
she
man.
said people had come in there and puked all over her shit. Because
that's terrible.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I remember going to a barbecue one time. I brought some because I remember telling my friends I bought a hot sauce. It was like, you can't handle this hot sauce. And I was like, this stuff ain't even red or nothing, man. You go in there, it's black. You know what I mean? And I was taking it over there, and they're like, man, and I'm like, man, all you need is like, you just like that, a dab, you're good. So I take it over there, man. This one dude's at the barbecue, like, oh man, no hot sauce affects me. I'm part Native American, man. Yeah, he's eating something, man. He good. We're all like, okay, yeah, man. He get
go for it.
Yeah, he was done, man. He was like a dragon, getting sick, and it was like, man, I thought you can handle it. No stuff handles you. All right, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, thank you.
Yeah, I ain't doing all that, man.
No.
But yeah, man. I love jambalaya, but I haven't had like jambalaya in Louisiana. I've had it up here, like jambalaya, but they call it here in the East Coast and stuff,
like
man.
New Orleans style jambalaya.
Yeah, they're like New Orleans style jambalaya. Like, okay.
It's basically rice.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, now y'all eat those crawfish, man, down there?
Oh, yeah. Crawfish season basically usually ends around like Father's Day time.
Oh, okay.
Now it's kind of over. I mean, you can still find some around here, but like around March, April, there's a place over by my mom's house, a few miles away down. You'd be in line for like 2 hours trying to get crawfish. Like for like your Mother's Day or Easter or something. Big holiday.
Nice.
And it's cheaper around that time, but I mean, you got some people, they'll buy like restaurants. Like if a restaurant around here has crawfish and like it's a known thing and they open at like 11 o'clock, there'll be a line out the door.
Oh, man. Yeah, I've never had crawfish, man. I'm always like, because they're always like, you break it open and you suck the brain out and stuff. And I'm like, I'm good. Now, yeah.
From an outsider, I mean, outside looking in, it does look hideous. But it's good. I mean, like, I'm not that big on crawfish, but if you do like a crawfish etouffee or something like that, where it's like your rice and your onions and stuff, and you mix the crawfish tails into like a roux or in like a gravy or something, that's what I like.
Nice. My dad, he used to watch this cooking show when I was a kid. The dude was from Louisiana or something. He always be like, you got some onion? Hey, get a little onion. I used to love it, man. You know, just sometimes, man, we see him like my dad be like, I'll be over there grilling or whatever. He's like, hey man, you got any onion? Like, that's right, you need some onion. But yeah, man, I want to say before I pass on back to Remy, man, I want to say thank you, for taking time out of your busy schedule, coming on, chatting with us about wrestling and all that good stuff.
I love it.
Man, I had a blast, man, chatting with you. Hope you get the podcast stuff, back up going soon, man. Definitely. Yeah, I want to see more of the, episodes, man, because I was watching the ones where you're like reviewing stuff, matches, all that stuff, man. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I hope you get it up, man. Wish you nothing but the positive things for you, your family, and all that, and all the good things that happen to you in life, man.
Thank you, man. Hey, thanks for reaching out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Having a good time.
Yeah, Cody, really and truly, man. Yeah, thank you for actually, being on our show. We really and truly do appreciate you. You've been on our radar for a bit. So, yeah, if you've been on our radar for a bit, I don't know if you saw, but we actually had you on our Follow Fridays. So if you ever saw yourself on there, it's either because you were on.
Yeah, because whenever I saw y'all had messaged me the other day, I was like, I know I've seen this name before. So I was like, okay, so it's not like it's some random group of guys.
So if you ever find yourself on our Follow Fridays, because either you were on our show or we intend to have you on our show. So
okay.
Thank you for actually giving us this opportunity. We really and truly do appreciate it. Hopefully, we can, if you're up for it, we'd like to have you back on in the very near future for one of our pay-per-view predictions, because we normally have a special guest where we actually run down the card. But we just did a Hell in a Cell. The next one we're gonna do is Money in the Bank, and so we normally have like a special guest to run down the card to give their predictions with us as who's gonna win, what's gonna happen, and so on.
I'll do it.
It's really fun. So yeah. So before we definitely look forward to having you back on. Before we and like I said, like Rob said, we definitely hope you get your podcast back up and running. For those of y'all that are watching, listening, go follow this man. Check out his podcast. It's SWX Podcast. Go ahead and follow it. We're not gonna have any hard feelings. We follow it. We actually listen to his content as well. Y'all know me in the whole podcast and the cereals analogy. I listen to different wrestling podcasts as well. It's like me waking up one morning and I want Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The next morning I want some Fruit Loop. The next morning after that some Cocoa Puffs. I like variety, and y'all should too. Cheerios?
Booty.
Oh yes, definitely. I got the Bootios, man. They make sure you're not booty. Yeah, Bootios too.
That was my shirt of choice when I went to WrestleMania 32. Out of everything I could have worn, I wore my Bootio shirt. They were over, man.
Yeah, they definitely were. Yeah, and it's funny because when I first saw them, I was like, "Oh gosh, here comes another prime time players group." I'm really getting sick and tired of this. And then lo and behold, like they actually broke the mold of those two. I was like, wow.
They acted like themselves.
Impressed.
They were just themselves. Simple. Wrestling ain't hard.
Oh yeah.
Or getting over ain't hard. Stone Cold Steve Austin, he just acted himself, and he's the most.
Yeah.
Not counting Hogan, he's the most popular wrestler ever.
Yeah, they definitely broke the mold and proved me wrong, because I had my doubts. But yeah, Bootios too, man. Yeah, make sure y'all eat y'all. Hey, if you don't eat your Bootios, well, I can't say, hey, you're gonna be that fan. You're gonna be that fan that's gonna look stupid tackling Bret Hart, or you're gonna be, But yeah, definitely follow them, man. It's always great to get like different opinions and spins.
I need 1,000 followers.
Things.
I'm at 855 right now.
Yeah,
I was almost there. Then I think a bunch of people. It was maybe some bots or something to start like backing out. I
don't know. You said it again. It was kind of breaking up over here.
No, I said I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers. I was like right there, and then I think I guess over time, like a few like disappeared, or like maybe there were like some multiple accounts, and they just all, the numbers like slowly went down.
You'll get back up there, man. I always say, perseverance gets you there. Consistency keeps you there. So you'll get back up there, man. It's a fight, but it's worth it. And like I mean, we're honestly speaking, compared to a lot of other podcasts, we have a significantly lower like follower count. But at the same time, I mean, we do this for fun. We do this because it's our passion. We don't do this for monetary value and all that stuff. I mean, we do this because we enjoy it. We love it. I mean, if we really wanted to, we could buy followers. But why would I pay somebody to like me? I'm not gonna do that. Why would we pay somebody to like us?
Yes,
no.
Some guy reached out to me about a year ago, and he wanted like I think $50 from him to follow me for me to get followers, and I just said no thanks. I found it weird, and I was like, "No."
Yeah, I'm not with it. I'm not knocking the hustle, but it's not for me. It's not for us here. I mean, we don't do that here.
I did get a retweet from.
But oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know one thing I'm gonna do?
Brother Bruce,
if I ever meet Brutus the Beefcake, I'm gonna put this on my chat. I'm gonna put this on my to-do because I had a bunch of crazy things. Like I wanted to pay Stevie Richards $50 to see if he could do a spinneroonie, and I was gonna do the whole. I was gonna go up to Doom, which was Butch Reed and Ron Simmons and Teddy Long, and say "damn," and then run away before they kick my ass. But I think the next thing I want to do, I want to get a haircut from Brutus the Bar Beefcake. Dude. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna let him shave me bald.
Go. I'm good. I'm good.
No. Shout out to my friend.
It's hair. I don't care. It's hair.
No, at Epic Mikey C. He is the biggest Brutus the Barber Beefcake fan out there. He's met him probably like 20 times. He lives out in Buffalo.
Oh, geez. Is he
crazy?
Is he always like strutting and cutting?
I think he's just a big Brutus fan. I don't know. Everyone has like their favorites. Like, I mean, my favorite is Shawn Michaels, but as far as like obscure wrestlers, my favorite is probably Val Venus.
The big Valvoski.
Some people love Brutus. Hey, I was 11 years old, loving Val Venus, walking around the house with a towel on my waist.
I thought that strut Brutus the Barber Beefcake used to do was like the coolest thing ever. I was like, yo, that was neat, man.
No, they had this the nickname for Baton Rouge is called the Red Stick, and they're having this Red Stick on in September. And I saw it the other day. We're getting I think Jake the Snake, Brutus, Ron Simmons, Medusa, Ted DiBiase, Rockin' Robin, the One Man Gang, Bushwhacker Luke. There's one more I'm missing, but Lawler, Jerry the King Lawler. But that's a big. That's like 20 minutes from my house. I'm gonna go.
I look back at Rockin' Robin and I was like, I looked at how she was and I was like, they should have put her with Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. That would have been a good pairing.
I didn't realize. Did y'all see the Vice, the Dark Side of Grizzly Smith or whatever?
I saw it.
No, I can't even watch Law and Order SVU. That's Dude, one I'm not gonna watch.
It was hard to watch, man. I mean, like I knew what happened, but it was like just the whole Grizzly Smith thing was kind of strange. I didn't realize that Rockin' Robin and Jake were brother and sister. I had no clue.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, wow, okay. I knew about that for a couple of. So fun fact. Sam Houston, who was Jake Roberts' brother, actually has a daughter that wrestles too.
Really?
Samantha Starr. I once booked her for an old podcast I used to work for, not Ringside Society, Reality Check Radio. This is like years ago.
Okay.
Really cool person.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
That was a hard watch. The Dark Side.
Yeah.
The China one.
But that was just sad what happened. I mean, and for Jake to go through what he went through as well too with that female too, I was like, man, I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care whether I don't care what your gender is, man. Like, you know, I don't care what the person's gender is. A predator's a predator, man. Like, real talk. That was wrong too as well. You know?
Yeah, like Grizzly Smith, there was a story. I know, Rob, you say you didn't see it, but he would go pick up like a 12, 13-year-old girl in like a town, and the parents would be like, "Hey, y'all have fun." And it's like, whoa. Yeah, just crazy stuff. The parents were cool with it. They I guess they blind to it. They just thought they thought of him as like just this nice guy that just, I don't know. Blows my mind, but whatever.
Well, back then it was a different time. I mean, we all three here both know any wrestler that tried that now. Whoo! Man, that would be the end of them.
Yeah, it's like
I know one particular wrestler in a certain particular state. I'm not going to call the state's name or the wrestler's name, but let's just say, and I'm not even going to mention their gender, but let's just say they better be nimble, or they better be quick, or they'll better get hit with they're going to get hit with a big stick. I'm going to leave it at that.
Was he with the WWE a few years ago?
They were with they worked on an Impact show. That's the only hint I'm going to give. They worked on Impact. It was either Impact or AEW, and they didn't realize that this person was a sex offender. So yeah.
I thought you were talking about James Ellsworth there for a minute.
No, I think that got resolved. I think that was proven that he wasn't in the wrong, or it didn't happen or anything.
Like,
so
I think it was like text messages or something. It wasn't nothing that bad.
I'm sorry, but here's my thing. I'm in a mindset where right now, like, business is business. Yeah. I'm not finna talk to no fan outside of wrestling. You want to talk to me? We could talk on Twitter.
Yeah. You
can talk to me on Twitter. Unless it's about merchandise or when the next show is, I have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
Point blank.
True.
I'm that business minded. Like, I'm like, if it's not about you purchasing merchandise or me getting a booking, or you want to find out where next you can see me in action, we ain't got nothing to talk about.
True.
Point blank.
Yeah.
It's all about this. Nothing else. But we're about to go and close the show. I gotta say, Cody, thank you a million times over for actually being on our show. We definitely appreciate it. Before we shut the show down though, where can fans find you on social media if they want to, like, you know, listen to your podcast, or, you know, purchase merchandise, or just, you know, shoot the breeze about wrestling?
Merchandise will happen eventually. Like I said, like everything was kind of crashed down a few months ago as far as like just forwarding everything. But you can follow me on Twitter at the SWX Podcast. Same with Instagram at the SWX Podcast. Or Facebook, just search Sports and Wrestling Xperience. Experience with an X, not EX, but with an X. And yeah, the show, the few episodes I do have is on it's on Spotify. I did get that going, and you can search YouTube Sports and Wrestling Xperience. I got a few videos on there, just doing either match reviews or just doing. There's one video of me doing a Mean Gene impression. Just doing silly stuff like that. But yeah, I'm all over the social media and whatnot.
Like I said, y'all follow this man. We're not gonna have any hard feelings. Still listen to our podcast, but check out his own as well. It's always great to get a different take on certain topics and events in professional wrestling as well. So with that being said, you know, my eyes are getting sleepy, so it's about that time for me to take a nice nap for the night. But before I do so, Rob Bass, where can fans find you on social media if they want to shoot the breeze about wrestling? Or where can bookers and promoters find you if they want to hire you to be a referee for their events?
You can find me Rob_Bass82 at Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, and then Facebook, YouTube is Rob Bass.
Awesome. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool or interesting to say, but who knows, you might get lucky. You can find me on Twitter at @TheRemyBlue. You can also find me on Facebook under Remy Blue. That's right. It's a picture of me at WrestleMania 28. So you can definitely go ahead and add me or follow me on there. Our podcast is also on social media. Yes, we're on Twitter under @Ringside Society, Instagram at Ringside Society, and also on Twitch under Ringside Society 2019. We're also on Facebook. Yes, we have a Facebook group as well. It's called Ringside Society, so definitely go ahead and check us out as well. And we also have a Teespring store. That's right. We have a Teespring store. We have merchandise available. We have shirts for the ladies, shirts for the men. We even have shirts for the little kids. So definitely go ahead and check out our Teespring store, cop a shirt. All proceeds go back into keeping Ringside Society afloat. It doesn't go into our pockets. You have my word on that. We also have a summer giveaway coming up soon. Last giveaway was our spring giveaway, and we actually gave away Fire Pro Wrestling World. It was a brand new copy for, I think it was what, PS2, right?
Nah,
I mean,
PS4.
right? Yeah, my bad, PS4. So we're gonna have another giveaway coming up soon. So make sure you study up on your wrestling trivia because it's the same format as last time. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in live tonight. We really and truly appreciate you. For those of you that are going to tune in later on via our YouTube or Twitch channel, thank you in advance. And for those of you that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we would just go away and stop doing this. I'm sorry, but it's been 2 years. We're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. Rob, when hit it, man.
They peanut butter and jealous.
You got it out these haters. There you go. But with that being said, we here at Ringside Society are very well aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Raw based. One time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the Sports and Wrestling Xperience podcast and its charismatic owner, Mr. Cody Davis. CD.
Thank you.
What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
Love it.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast. And with that being said, we will be back tomorrow with another exciting episode of 15 Minutes of Fandom. That's right. We're for the first time, I think we're doing a consecutive, we're doing 2 consecutive episodes. Our guest tomorrow will be none other than JT Snow from the O-Face Wrestling Podcast. He's a huge fan of women's wrestling, so definitely make sure you tune in tomorrow at, I think it's 2:45 p.m. I'm not, we'll let y'all know. But with that being said, we're still going through a pandemic, so until it's over, stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
Party on, guys. Hey, thank you.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man.
See you.
No problem.